It's been a while since when was our last live stream? 2 months ago.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was like November. And we were back for another repeat of live. We've got Dan Darnell, Bill Schneider, Jason, Matt Gentry, and Josh Andrzejczyk, all in our respective basements.
Jordan, you're not in your basement. Bill's not in his basement. Matt's not in his basement.
Okay, fine.
I'm in my
I'm
basement.
above my basement. How's that?
Only Dan and I are in our basements.
Dan has nicer plaid tartan on the back there wall.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that, do you?
I do like that very much.
He's been trying to get samples for his basement, for his layout room.
That was imported in 1966. I don't think you're going to find it.
When you were -1.
Yep.
He remembers it well.
Anyway, just don't mind our bantering here. We've got a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to be talking about all our Christmas releases. We're going to be talking about our upcoming order deadlines. We've got quite a few. There's going to be a lot to talk about. We've got samples to show, some samples we haven't shown anybody yet. We'll be showing those off. Plus some other stuff. We'll answer some questions. Send us your interesting questions. Don't just send questions like,
when are we making a Kraus Maffei?
yeah. When is everything coming in N scale? There's probably already comments why everything hasn't been shipped in N scale already. So
we announced the N-scale Kraus Maffei in March, right? I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to.
Jason jumped out of the meeting early. He didn't find out that we approved that.
we had our planning meeting this afternoon.
Don't give away our secrets, eh? Then we got nothing left for our actual newsletter.
Well, we're gonna be busy for a while. That's it.
Kraus Maffeis, F3s, ES44s. There you go.
Yes.
No, I think that we should become only a GEVO company, because we do that. We can make GEVO.
I think we should announce a new 4-axle engine.
Our new 4-axle engine.
Yeah.
We have a couple new 4-axle engines doing it.
We do have a 4
Anyway,
we haven't announced yet, but we're not going to be talking about that today. So. I've said too much.
I'll mute myself when I start drilling.
You're doing
thank you.
drilling in the middle of a live
Hey,
stream.
you look like a minion.
Yes. And Jason is doing a how-to video here on switch heaters, was it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess should we dig into? We're going to go over the Christmas announcements that we announced last month. Well, just over a month ago now. It's hard to believe. We're going to go over those. We will go over the order deadlines that we got coming up. What we have coming up, anyway, we got the E8s, we've got the Turboliner,
Mhm.
and
Yates and Turboliner are the big one.
yep. And I think I'm not sure if we're going to be talking about the market deadlines yet, but we'll dig into that a little bit. So anyways, before I get into everything else, our website is still offline right now. We just have the kind of holding page until the new site is up. The team is working pretty diligently on that to get it online. Hopefully next week. This is going to be an all new ordering system. It's going to be a lot easier to use and a lot more user friendly.
Most important thing you'll be able to do is be able to check all your back orders and see what your pre-orders are. And that's especially handy for stores. They'll be able to check their orders.
Exactly. It'll automate a lot of the process, so you can log in, you can see if your stuff is there, and make sure you have your orders in. So that should be hopefully up next week, and there should be a whole bunch of other interesting stuff going into that website. So keep a lookout for that. In the meantime, if you do have any questions, please send us an email. You'll see some of the posts we've done on Facebook the last week. Has a link to our email address with trains@repeatertrains.com, and we'll do our best to answer them. So why don't we dig into the new December announcements. Let's start with the Jeep 38. So let me get this ready here.
No, I wanted to go last.
Okay.
All right, do it.
Who wants to go first then?
No, bring up Jeep 38.
All right, let's bring this up here. So there we go. There's the Jeep 38. We announced one of our 3 big Christmas Day launches.
Where to begin?
Yeah, where to begin? So we've got quite a few different road names and body variations. And also keep in mind when we always say this, but keep in mind these are preliminary artworks and renderings. These aren't final. There will be updates and various things revised on these. So if you see something that's maybe out of place, actually the best thing to do, drop us an email and we can forward that on to the respective project manager for a review.
And I mean, the best part about it so far is that after the announcement, there's been a couple of people reach out to me that are very knowledgeable on the prototype, and I've been working with them to make the models that much better. They were good before, but the outside assistance is going to push these things over the top. So these things are going to be very nice.
Mhm,
So
absolutely.
it's great when that happens, yeah.
And as a lot of people know, the Jeep 38, that's kind of one of the more, almost you want to call it the more standard diesels that were ever made. I think what do trains call it, the standard American locomotive or something like that, way back in the day, probably before everyone else's time.
Before my time.
Am I the only one that remembers that article?
Vaguely.
I used to only read when they were writing about VIA.
Yeah, Via had a ton of them.
Yeah.
Moving on.
That was gorgeous paint scheme too.
Don't forget those Via GP40 TCs.
Had to go there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, not 5 minutes in, you're already talking about GP4 TCs.
We can't do a live stream without mentioning them. So that's just a given.
We've mentioned it, it's done.
You know what you signed up for.
This stuff's really smelly, this Instaset. Oh, moly.
Yeah.
Can you mute him somehow? How do we do that? It's just.
Anyway, let's talk about Jeep 38s. So we do have lots of different road names and road numbers. You want to take us through that, Matt? All the different variations we've got?
Sure. Primarily how I tried to set up the first run, at least it was a good idea in theory, is to sort of do roads and everything that were built off of a original family road. So like if you notice B&O was ordered from the B&O and delivered, but then it went on to CSX. So that's why there's CSX along with the B&O, and then Norfolk Southern with Southern, and then the whole group starting with Burlington, Penn Central. Penn Central was the original owners of the locomotive, and then of course they went to Conrail, and then after Conrail, the 2100 series of BN units are the former Penn Central Conrail units, and then of course BN went to BNSF. So that's was the idea behind the road name selection, the road number series on these locomotives, and then of course reflecting the updates, changes, modifications, if there were any, for each subsequent road. So of course BNSF has the relocated headlight. I don't exactly remember what was changed between BN. I mean, there's a beacon on the cab of the BN units. Conrail was pretty straightforward replacement or repaints after Penn Central. Some of the details on the Penn Central Conrail units is with the the cab signal box on the right side of the nose.
You can see it right at the side. I'll zoom in a bit on this.
Therefore, the grabs to get on top of the nose are on the left side of the nose, on the conductor side, and that will be positioned correctly. Of course, various fuel tank capacities, lengths, dimensions, different dynamic blisters for the different families of roads whenever they so like the Penn Central Conrail BN unit has the same dynamic blister, but then between B&O and CSX, the dynamic blister is different because the B&O units were delivered with the oil bath air cleaning system, air filtration system, and then by the time they got to CSX, they had gotten modified to the paper air filter box. So that has been reflected on these models. And then of course, Santa Fe, we wanted to add the detail variant of Santa Fe with the switcher style steps on these. So this has the correct switcher style steps on the forward and rear pilots. We have had some people ask, the BN and BNSF units do not, because they are not former Santa Fe units. As I mentioned,
Say something, Matt? I am so impressed by how much you know about this. Like, I mean, seriously, to be able to know all these variations, like paper filters, oil filters, all that, the switcher step, that's just amazing. I'm very impressed. I think that, I don't know if you hear that enough, how awesome it is that you know all this stuff. And the same thing with any of our project managers about how well you guys know the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, you're going to drive the factory nuts with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He already has.
They're already not happy about it.
Big problem.
One other thing about the Santa Fe's, they will have the amber beacons, which will be amber. So, as we like to say sometimes.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Oh, somebody was going to.
But
These also have the unique trucks on the Santa Fe, right?
yep, and we are doing the unique Santa Fe truck where they, by this time, because this is repainted and then renumbered into the 2300 series, the outer brake shoes on the trucks had been removed and the brake rigging on the inner shoes had been removed, or modified rather.
Modified.
And so that truck side frame is unique to the Santa Fe. The rest of the truck side frames are the same on B&O, CSX, Penn Central, so on.
The other cool thing I like about the Santa Fe is the lack of number boards on the back.
Yep. And there's a couple of other differences for the Santa Fe. The generator cabinet, the access door on the right side of the long hood behind the cab, that is a different door. It stands proud and it's shorter than the generator access door on the rest of the bodies. And the sand access door latch is on the right side of the rear of the long hood than compared to the left side on the others. So just small little details like that, pushing these things to be one of the nicest GP38 on the market. So I'm
No,
excited.
it's not one of the nicest.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed that you've done the different fans too, right? Ones with the disc in the center and ones without.
Yep. So there will be the gosh, I forget what they called that. Anyway, the button top fan grill.
Mhm.
So those that etching is available, and then the without the button top grill on the radiator fan will be available as well.
Who used the button top fans?
It was on early deliveries.
Okay.
Shows it's a build date thing.
Right.
And
right.
the specific date escapes me right now, but I would imagine that the B&O, of course, had it. Penn Central probably had it before they all started getting modified, changed, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Then, of course, Penn Central and those families, as delivered, had the low profile fan radiator fans. We'll be doing that as well. Gosh, what else? Lighting. The class lights are lit. The number boards are lit. Of course, directional front and rear headlights. Ground effect lights above the front truck. Or rather the truck under the cab for you long hood forward guys. Operating beacons on the ones that are applicable, and operating ditch lights on the ones that are applicable.
That's
So-
The high hood version.
yeah, that's just NS. Oh, NS and BNSF, I guess.
Yeah, BNSF has ditch lights as well. NS has front and rear ditch lights, and I'm pretty sure that the BNSF is only on the short hood end, I think.
It's got the image has it
Yeah.
on both ends, but I've
Yeah,
obviously-
then they are front and rear. Yep. Yeah. Oh, lit control stands, as Rapido has been doing for a couple of years now. So,
Do these have the wire handrails?
yep, wire handrails with the molded plastic stanchions. On the long handrails, that is, the
Right.
end handrails are still molded in POM, I guess it is on those. What else you want to know?
I think that's good.
Mhm.
Is that all?
Covered it.
Like we always say, keep in mind this is the first release. We always get emails and comments saying, why haven't you made this road or that road? We just, we can't make every road in the same release.
And I will say that narrowing it down to these roads was a headache and a half. Just which ones do you do?
Well, you didn't do O and W, so my wallet's safe. So.
Yeah.
Didn't
Oh,
do chassis, so I'm safe.
and the Norfolk Southern units do have the lights on along the top of the hood for the walkway lights. They are not lit up though.
Mhm.
You can see
And draw a line somewhere, eh, Matt?
Yeah.
it's a little
Well, you know what? I was gonna buy a fleet, but because those aren't working, my wallet's safe.
Well, but as you tell us, you get them at cost, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, but by the way, your layout is still filled with Southern Pacific B-36s and Amtrak F-40s and NPCUs right now and turboliners. So
No, the turbo liner is on its way somewhere else. It's been
Oh, yeah.
shipped out today.
it's on its way.
Oh, etched see-through steps on the
Yep.
corners.
Now on the NS and the Southern, it looks like two different size fuel tanks.
Yes, they are. As delivered, the Southern had the shorter fuel tank. I forget, again, the capacity escapes me right now. But then by the time they were on the Norfolk Southern, they had the longer fuel tank. That was a modification that Southern did that carried over. I don't know exactly what the timeline was for Southern to modify that. But as delivered, Southern had the shorter fuel tanks. They had the really long angular fuel fill pipe.
Mhm.
And then the dual sight glass was at an angle on the forward end of the fuel tank instead of mounted on the side of the fuel tank.
So conceivably in a later release, we can put the big tank on the Southern units.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of legs with this project. We can go, we can do so many different roads in the future.
Yep, and other model variants potential as well. So
Yep, anything's possible with this. That's
Yep.
really neat.
again, it's a fun project to look at what went where and everything like that. So we've just got so many different road names and everything to go through. We will get to yours at some point.
All right, so before we go on to we'll go on to the M420s, I think, next. Before we get there, why don't we do a couple of quick questions? Got a bunch on the list here. I've got a question about the timeline of the barrel ore cars. Where are they sitting in shipping right now?
I can tell you that right now.
I think they left, didn't they?
Oh, no, they're almost here.
Yeah.
They were due to arrive, last time I traced them, they were due to arrive in Prince Rupert tomorrow. So let me just check.
The X-72s, they were supposed to arrive today, I think. But I'm not sure if they actually landed in the warehouse. Supposed to be.
Okay, so as of this morning, it said that the barrel ore cars were still due to arrive Prince Rupert tomorrow.
Nice.
So that's what it's saying.
Is there anything else in that shipment, or are they just on their own?
This on the same container is the EP5s.
Oh yes, of course. Probably those.
Oh yeah, those.
And meanwhile, the Caprices are sitting in a warehouse in China somewhere, waiting for a
The
boat.
Caprices left the factory. No, they're in a container already, and they're in the same container as the N scale new look buses. So interestingly, there's a situation where we've got two factories different factories made the EP5 and the barrel ores. They're together in one container. And two different factories, another two, made the Caprices and the buses, and they're in the same container, just because we use the same shipping company for all of our shipments. So they ended up getting grouped in the same container.
And we'll, after a little bit, we'll have a closer look at some of those samples. We got production models of both the buses and the Caprices. We'll pull those up in a little bit. In the meantime, this is probably a good point to talk about the M420s. Let me bring that up here. I have a review of all the different road names and paint schemes, and keep in mind some of these CN is not. CN is going to go into production, but a lot of these are conditional announcements based on how many orders we get.
Okay. So as everybody knows, we're doing, like Jordan said, the CN rebuilds, the 3500s, which include knuckle duster doors, paper filters on the end. That was the two major modifications between that and the 2500s. They will be
ditch lights.
They'll be fitted with ditch lights on it. Now we've had several requests to lower the vent along the top of the roof, and we are doing that. We've had amazing pictures sent to us, and we'll go back and correct that and lower it down on all the models. Now, the reason it is high on the first production run is the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. It is taller on that locomotive. So at some point it must have been rebuilt when we 3D scanned it. And we will go back and correct that. Now, on the CN ones, we're doing the stripes. The CN North America had two versions done, the small CN logo and the large CN logo on that. And that's about it for those guys. Now, we're also doing the Minnesota Commercial Railway, which basically is an unchanged CN unit, just paint. And the unit we scanned, the Oils Creek and Titusville Railroad. So again, that's a basic CN unit. Moving on, we do have conditional announcements on the...
One note before we go beyond that, the Minnesota Commercial is a conditional announcement as well. I think that's the only CN version that's conditional.
How many did Bobby order to get those done?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think with what Bobby ordered, we'll be producing it.
So are we keeping orders for this one because it's conditional? Is that going to be the March deadline? The one with the other conditional ones?
No, so the CN version, including Minnesota Commercial, we haven't announced the deadline for the CN version, but that's going to be at that, because the reason that the March 15th is a deadline for the BC Rail is that requires new tooling. The Minnesota Commercial does not require new tooling. We've already, the M420 is already in tooling for the CN, and we should have samples in March.
All right, so that's the CN units. We'll move over to the BC Rail versions.
Yeah, and again, these are all conditional, but you can see basically one of the big problems with the BC Rail and the is the fact that, yeah, the PLE somewhat. They inverted the chassis when they built it from the CN units. So the offset spacing of the front truck is now the offset spacing on the rear truck on the BC Rail stuff. So it's not just a matter of us flipping the chassis, it's everything that's hung on the chassis flips from the left side to the right side, creating basically a whole unique new chassis. And then the door arrangements, the filter arrangements, everything on the hood is different. So even the cab is slightly different with different options on the nose and whatnot. So
Makes Matt's GP38 sound simple.
yeah, and basically for a BC Rail unit, you would figure they would have been off the shelf modified CN stuff, and they're not. So it becomes almost a whole new locomotive at that point. And then
I think it's important for our customers to know that the BC Rail is very, very expensive to tool that.
Yeah.
That's why we've made it conditional, because, well, just like the GP4 UTC, BC Rail fans are very vocal. So we don't know if it's a small number of people really wanting it, or if it's a large number of people wanting it. And here's the thing, if you look at our -8 locomotive, which came out a few years ago, CN outsold BC Rail 4-1. In order for us to sell enough BC rails to tool this version, the BC rails have to outsell the CN 3500s by about 2 to 1. And so that's why we just don't know if there'll be enough orders for it. So that's why we had to make it conditional.
Guys, if you want them, order them.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically.
Coming up, that's March 15th for these.
March 15th is the preliminary order deadline is March 15th.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing that quite a bit in the next 5-6 weeks, and we'll see if the orders are there. If they're looking good, we'll go forward with it. So.
Matt Herman very much wants us to make this. So if you like Matt Herman and ESU products, please order BC Rail M420s.
And our own Bobby really wants them.
Yeah.
And Bobby wants them too. That's true.
One thing to note on these, some of these I think still have the earlier artwork, the earlier mock-up artwork. I think we did a couple of updates to this.
Yeah, no, they've been updated. The stripes on the rear of the B unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, they look okay.
Okay.
So anyway, on that, and we are selling them in AB sets. We are doing a double B set with the 2 units that got the hockey stick paint scheme on them. And that's what the 2 unit B pack is there. And then another favorite of Bobby's is the Delaware and Lackawanna, which again are XBC rail units. So they fall into the same category.
We had a lot of people asking for those, but we want to see if that turns into orders. So please, if you beg for them, put your order in, or else it might not happen.
At this point, I can tell you that the CN 3500 and the BC Rail orders are about even with each other, based on our initial pre-orders. The P&W units have hardly sold at all. These guys.
And again, the problem with the P&W units are they ride on trade-in FA1 trucks, and it's a different bolster height. It's different truck spacing again, so it requires a new chassis, whatnot. The hoods in the cab are essentially CN on them. There is slight headlight changes and whatnot, but it's not so much the body on this one. It's again another underframe.
So all you New Englanders, please order these up, because I've been telling Jason how neat these locomotives would be and that they'd sell well. So don't make a liar out of me.
And I believe these are the ones that went on to was it Iowa
Interstate?
Interstate.
Yep.
So,
Which actually reminds me, we had a question about why we're not doing Iowa Interstate. We can't do every road number and a road name at the same time. But I mean, if this run is successful, if we do get those orders, that opens the door to doing other variations.
Also, if there's a store out there who wants to order 300 Iowa Interstates, that's about halfway. That's about halfway towards our P&W sales goal.
it doesn't actually have to be a store. It could be an individual.
Yeah,
sure.
Somebody with a really big one.
Somebody wants to order 300 of them.
Someone wants to order 300 Iowa Interstates. It's amazing that there's actually there's a couple of really nice layouts in Iowa Interstate, so it gets a lot of press for such a small railroad.
Yeah, it's a neat paint scheme. It's a great looking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a nice nose shot there. The as delivered unit, 2001.
There's a new series that just started in Rail Model Craftsman, all about modeling the Iowa Interstate on a shelf layout. I found that really interesting reading the gorgeous scratch-built bridge.
The bridge
Right off the bat. Oh, just stunning.
Yeah, so that's M420s. Sorry, Dan, were you saying something?
No, I'm just saying if you see your favorite one on there, order it.
Yep. March 15th. So that is
the March 15th is the initial order deadline. So we have to get enough pre-orders by March 15th.
It's kind of like
know if these are going to work.
Liner. So how we did the turbo liner, we put up kind of a deadline to see if there was actually the support for the project, and it turns out there was. Fantastic. And then that allowed us to continue with development. Same thing with the H1644, where we put up a date that said, well, we need to know if this project is still viable. We'll get your orders in, and then we'll go from there. And it turns out it was, and development on that is continuing.
Turbo liner looks fabulous. Hopefully people have seen our new YouTube video. It was running right over here on my layout, so it's just fabulous.
Actually, I think I have some photos of that somewhere. Hold on a sec. Oops, wrong button. This is the this is actually this is on your layout. We did this last month, or was this in December?
Yeah, that was the first photo. That was where we took the undecorated model, and Jeremy Hopkins painted it in Photoshop. Did a beautiful job.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if I've got any photos on my phone here. Yeah, I do. There we go. So how do I share screen on my phone?
You're trying to share.
I don't know how to do that.
Where's your waiting music that you always put on?
No, don't.
Don't, you're not, no, just don't.
Can I share screen on my phone?
Yeah.
Share content. Photos.
Now you're
Oh, I get to choose a photo.
Now you're sideways.
Oh, give me a break. Can you guys see that?
Oh, we can see you sideways.
No, we can't.
Well, it's starting. It's starting.
There it
Does
is.
that
we go.
work?
That works.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
works.
that was just straight out of the camera. That's on my phone. I just took that photo here, right in front of me here on the layout.
That's not Photoshop.
No Photoshop there. That's your paint job, Dan. Dan
that's
custom
mine,
painted this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Beautiful
It's
job.
still a
Dan.
shame the sun hasn't come out yet. But,
And the sun will never be visible on my layout, that's for sure.
It's going to be perpetually the first week of December 1980, thereabouts. So,
Around that area.
Not come out
give or
tomorrow.
take.
yeah. Why don't we get some more questions here? We've got a question about when the PAs are when the PAs are going to show up, and when are we going to see production samples?
The PA production is almost finished. They were supposed to leave before Chinese New Year. They just weren't ready to go yet. But the F-59s left before Chinese New Year. So the PAs, we're having them ship in 2 batches, half in March and half in April.
So for those that don't know, the Chinese New Year holiday, the factory is closed down for 2 to 3 weeks, basically. So there's no production going on at the moment, but they are very close on a whole bunch of schemes to having production samples ready.
Yeah, they're going to send, I guess they'll probably courier us the production samples.
Yep.
Let's get one more question here. There's a question for Josh. Do you make RTS buses in HO?
Well, I wanted to do RTS buses a while ago, but Jason said they were ugly.
Yeah.
They're very
Make them.
You used to drive them, didn't you?
I did for a couple of years, but they're very much like a quintessential bus, and especially in the United States.
Aren't
But-
those like this? Aren't they like the 7,000 something series? Did you see?
7200s.
Oh, I just nerded out.
So did he.
No, I did. I was accurate.
He was in the ballpark though.
Yeah, I give him a gold star for that one.
Delivered in 94. All right.
I think 96.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
hold me to that. I'll probably
Okay.
I'll probably get like numerous texts from my friends.
Was it 98? Because 96
No,
ran 5s, the 7,000s. So
It was later, and it was mid to late 90s,
yeah.
So we know all this about a bus we're not doing. This is pretty interesting.
isn't it?
that's because we're just nerds.
Speaking of something that we are doing, why don't we talk about the H1AB Hudsons?
You want me to share screen? Because I do have some screen captures from the CAD that we could talk about too.
Sure. Do you want to go over this
for it.
first and we'll look at the
Okay,
screen?
go through the sales. We'll go through the sales pack and then I can show off what we're doing.
We'll do both. Let me just zoom in a bit here. A little better. There's 2816. So these are the standard 464 Hudsons that predated the Royals.
So these
we
are
call it Jeremy. We call it Jeremy Hopkins again for doing that gorgeous illustration for us.
dynamite work. These are probably the worst kept secret in our steam program, but we have been working on these for quite a while. These are the non-streamlined, the H1A and B Hudsons. It's been a bit of an ongoing project, so that some of the renders you see here have been had changes made already in terms of design. I want to scroll on to the next page. I can kind of roll through. So we're doing these in a few different variations. We're doing the delivery scheme, which had the earlier running boards on it, which stepped up and over the air pumps and on the left side. We're doing that both with and without the smoke deflectors. Then we're doing the slightly later versions. Scroll down a little bit, which have the running boards with basically the space for the number on the running board, and the number was moved off the cab, put on the running board. This is kind of, I think, the version that a lot of people are familiar with. Here again, we're doing it a few different ways. We're doing it's actually the world's greatest transport system, I think was the correct logo we have. It spans the world, but the earlier campsite Herald and then the later Beaver Herald, which is on the next page. Good. Thank you. And also with and without smoke deflectors as well for these. Shield with it. There was only one.
We've had a lot of help from CP for these, right?
We've had a lot of help. We'll talk about that here in just a sec. But yeah, so far only one photo that I found of the later scheme that still had the smoke deflectors on it, so 2807. And then of course we're doing 2816, which the CP crew has been dynamite. They've provided us drawings, photographs, all sorts of minutiae to include in on the model. So this, of course, is the Empress, the one that's been restored for service. Gorgeous locomotive. We will be doing the excursion version, which has the ditch lights on the front and a few other changes, which I'll show you on the CAD here in just a minute, to make it an accurate model of 2816 as it's been running in excursion.
That has the oil tender on there as well. That's oil, that's oil, right?
Correct, and that's the only one of the group. And if I can just take over screen sharing here for a moment.
Take it away.
Okay. So you can see my screen here, bear with me. All right, so this is the early version H1. You see the straight running board on this side. Different valve gear arrangement, different crosshead arrangement than on the Royal Hudson. So it's some different cylinders, different trailing truck, lots of subtle differences to the Royals. This is the early version with the smoke deflectors. We will be doing both styles of number board on the front, the peak style and the flat style. And you notice that the units with the smoke deflectors also have a shield here over the front pilot deck. This is the 2816 version. A few of the changes here, obviously we mentioned the ditch lights. 2816 has a second whistle on the front, which I found out tonight is actually off of the Selkirk, believe it or not. And it also has two turbo generators instead of the one on the standard locomotives. That was for the extra electronics that they've had to put on. And then also, being that it's an oil-fired unit, the back of the cab has the apparatus here for a sandbox for sanding out the flues, which is not on the standard locomotives. There you go.
Stunning, Bill. That's like really, really amazing work.
I noticed, Bill, you did the two-tone black on the tender as well.
Yes.
On the
As I
side.
said, the CP guys have just been dynamite. You know, call them up and say, what is this? Do you have a photo of it? And, you know, a couple hours later, we've been getting photos, drawings, whatever. So they've been great.
Both the CPHA guys and the CP guys.
Yeah, all of the CP, you're right. All of the CP guys, the CPHA guys for the earlier versions and the CP Steam program crew for the 2816. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got a quick question about the Hudsons, actually. Is the
Mhm.
mechanism going to be the exact same as the Royal Hudson? They're asking because the traction tires tend to be a bit unreliable.
Well, it's going to be very similar. And we will have the option with or without traction tires, like we did on the Hudson with the traction tires out. We will try to tighten up the traction tires a little bit. I know that there were some issues with some of them working loose on the early run. The only mechanism change between the two is we've actually using a magnetic cam system now on the axle for the steam chuff as opposed to on the flywheel, which is where it was before. It's going to give us a little bit more accurate chuff synchronization.
Now, do we have kind of a schedule for going into tooling or when an order deadline might be coming?
So these drawings just came from the factory just before they closed for CNY for Chinese New Year, and I'm going over them now. So we're still not quite finished with the design process, but as soon as the design process is done, I think we're basically ready to pull the plug for tooling. So yeah.
Orders are very strong, and orders for 2816 equal the orders for all the others combined.
Nice.
Right.
2016 will is a special limited release. It's in a presentation box, available DCC.
Wood box.
Yep. So it's going to be a gorgeous package.
Speaking of the steam program, we got a question about the CNH6s. Do we anticipate there will be any update to that project, or what's going on with that right now, if anything?
Nothing at the moment. We're going to kind of wait. We've got the D10 basically ready for production. We're going to wait till the D10 is in production and out there, and then probably put another push on the H6 because I'd like to see it done. I think there's been a lot of people who've been waiting to see how the D10 works before they put in their order for the H6. So we'll show them what we can do with the D10, and then we'll talk about it at that point.
Absolutely. And we are still able to take orders for that. Obviously, our website's off right now, but
Mhm.
you can still take orders, and your dealer can take an order.
Right.
That's one way of showing if the project's going to be viable. And so far, it's just been too low.
That's the best way for us to know is to actually have people show the interest in an order.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking to see how the H1s that we just announced are doing compared to the H6s that we announced several years ago. And I'm pleased to say that we have now, in terms of dollar value, sold half as many H1s in 1 month as we sold H6s in like 5 years.
Hasn't quite been that long, but it was about 2 years ago.
When did we sell out of them?
So no, I'm talking about these H1s that we just announced. We've already sold a lot of them.
Versus the CN86.
The CNH6, which we have been taking orders for a long time, and no one seems to be ordering.
It is interesting that the CP stuff, for whatever reason, seems to be more popular sales-wise than the CN, and I can't imagine why. Honestly, they've both got some great locomotives, but that's just the way our sales numbers are falling right now. So CN guys,
could it be
see the locomotive order?
It always goes back to the west at CP and in the east at CN, right?
Could it also be because CP has maintained a steam program almost all the way through until today, except for various times when the units were, when 1201 wasn't working before 2816 came on board, and 2816 is being rebuilt right now. So the question is, like, because CP steam has been in everyone's eyes, there's just more followers of it.
Right, and certainly that would express bring the interest on for the 2816.
But you got to look at 6218, 6060.
Yeah,
CN's had their fair share of the stuff. It's just
but the last time CN ran an excursion with one of their steam engines was 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's what.
Could be.
Let's answer a couple more questions, and then I think we'll go over to the March order February order deadlines. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already looking forward to spring. The 3 feet of snow I have in my driveway right now. Let's see. When is the P30CH coming?
That, well, see, Jordan, that would be a project that you're paying for. So why don't you answer that?
Jordan, he wasn't in that part of the meeting today.
Yeah, it actually came up. And it wasn't him who brought it up.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's all right. Bobby's just as enthusiastic for.
It wasn't Bobby.
Seriously?
Seriously.
It was someone here.
Josh.
Matt, why did you do that?
Whoa, I don't model Amtrak.
You do now.
Throwing me under the Rapido bus. Thanks.
Oh, good. While you're under there, can you do some maintenance on it?
Okay.
Yeah, right. Fix the oil leak.
Yeah, just hand me the tube of silicone RTV. I'll get it.
Thank you for reminding me, Josh. I got to text our mechanic again. Supposed to get that thing into the shop 3 weeks ago.
We got some shipping questions here. Where are the GLA? What was that?
I have no idea.
I'm sorry, that was my computer.
Oh, I thought it was Jason.
Anyways, when are the GLAs arriving? Those have actually already arrived. They shipped out to dealers last week, and I think direct orders are almost all out the door now.
Yep.
Has anyone heard, did the X72s actually land in the warehouse today?
I was walking my way in between the skids today.
Okay, so the X72s are in the house. So that's good. Those will probably ship out sometime maybe mid to late next week out to dealers and distributors. And questions about the F40 shells. The phase 3s are, I think are they arriving in the next week?
They're due to arrive by Monday.
Yep. Now there will be a bit of a process. We have to do some shell swaps. So we're hoping to get those for what, in 2-3 weeks time.
So we're gonna get the X72s out first,
Yep, of course.
and then we'll do the shell swaps. Now we're doing shell swaps on half of them, and the other half we're doing shell swaps and truck swaps.
Yeah.
So we may end up shipping out the first half, the ones that just have the shell swaps, a few weeks before the others. Depends how long it takes.
That'd be the as delivered phase 3.
Right.
Other ones are the ditch light equipped, the later ones. Those had the other type of lumber truck that we're going to swap onto them. And if anyone that emailed us looking for the replacement trucks, those will go out sometime by the parts department. Sometime over February, depends on how quickly they get through things. They've been pretty bogged down lately, but Robin is doing a bang up job. So.
Yeah, Robin has requested we have another customer service person. So to give you everyone some background information, that's why we're doing a big upgrade. It's not just our website. That's very easy. We're actually upgrading our entire accounting system and inventory management system because Rapido has grown over 17 years. The system we put in place in 2005 has, grown and changed and grown and changed, but it's gotten to a point where it's just not like we're still entering orders manually. And so we've got 2 people who do very little else except enter orders and charge credit cards. So once that's automated, we'll be able to, they'll be able to help Robin do parts and trucks and things like that. So we're hoping that things will go smoothly. We're in the process of our, like this is the kind of stuff when those of you who are in business, who've ever had to change over your system, you can imagine the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Like, for example, everything was going smoothly until the currency exchange on purchase orders was off. So we had to go and fix all the data to fix so the new system understands the currency situation. So it's little stuff like that. It's very complicated to change over our systems, but it's long overdue.
And we are going to have the full website itself has got actually kind of a new format and look. So once that goes online, is there gonna be like a beta test, or is it just gonna be all online?
So it'll go online. We're gonna test it internally to make sure things like, it'll work to charge your credit card and stuff like that. But we're gonna rely on our customers to help us with the beta testing. So when we'll make it live, hopefully in about a week, or a little over a week, and then we'll get our customers to go and let us know after they do some browsing. We'll be looking for mistakes or problems or things that don't work. But you may have a customer with a different browser. We may discover there's a compatibility issue. So we want you to get in touch with us if there's an issue with your browsing.
Yeah, the new website has 16 times the detail, so.
16, I thought it was 19 times detail.
16 times.
It was 16 times detail. Sorry, I forgot that. Correct. Yeah, 16 times the detail.
Todd Howard quote for anyone that has any idea what I'm talking about. So, anyways.
There are people who know.
Yes, there are. Anyways, why don't we talk about some order deadlines? We got some deadlines coming up in February. Which one should we talk about first? Let's talk about.
I think we should just talk about the two big ones for February.
Yeah,
which talk about today.
Actually, well, we'll talk about E8s first. Do you want me to bring up the pack first, or Bill? You said you had some photos you wanted to share.
No, for the E8, go ahead and pull up the sales pack or whatever you'd like on that.
Got it. Let's do that first. So, yeah, the E8 deadline is coming up, February 15th.
So this is another project where, we can't just do one version, and the E8 project has morphed into something that now has something like 7 different noses and 3 different roos and 2 different backs and 2 different fuel tanks and 2 different sets of air brake cylinders and 3 different air or steam generator hatches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, to try to make each one 2 different pilots. Try to make each one as road specific as we can. And
Bill, are you trying to suggest that this is better than my River Rossies? I don't think it's possible.
I'm still partial to the old model power, to be honest, but
yeah, I miss the big screw in the roof.
Wait, weren't those the same model?
Yep.
Yeah, the insides of these are huge die-cast chassis. They weigh about over a pound, I believe, each. They pull very well. Very happy with the way they run now. As any of you have been following us know, we've had some false starts with a project manager in China who made some modifications that they shouldn't have, but those have all now been fixed and put back and gotten us back to where it should have been from the original 3D scan. And we're very happy.
Does this have 2 actual prime movers inside it?
Yeah, it's 2 can motors in there.
All right, don't forget it. Okay, we'll move the deadline up and we'll put 2 motors in it. No.
If it doesn't have 2 prime movers, my wallet's safe.
Oh, your wallet. Well, no, your wallet isn't safe because we're doing the VIA with the ditch lights just for you, so you better get some.
He needs all 6 of those.
Yeah, there you go. And just because it is we're doing the blanked portholes, we're also doing the standard portholes, and because CP Shops decided to put one of their porthole panels on backwards, we're also doing that version so that the one CP and VIA unit can have the backwards porthole on the front end.
That's sold really well, actually.
I know.
Yeah,
there you go. You can see it at the top there.
CNH6 steam engines.
Yeah. You can see on 1801, it is farther forward towards the cab there.
No, I thought it was 1800. It was 1801.
1800's got the backwards. The other one is the standard, right?
Yeah, 1800 is the backwards one.
That's the standard one. 1800 has got
yeah. They basically that front panel, they just installed it backwards and upside down. So the whole thing is tweaked.
What did you say a minute ago about Jeep 38s being a breeze?
Yeah, you had the easy ones. But yeah, actually, we're very excited to see these things finally coming close to fruition. So yeah, the order deadline is February 15th. We're ready to go. I do have some samples downstairs, which we'll be shooting some video with probably over the weekend. So we'll have some videos with the updated features and so forth, just to show you how they run and so forth.
Can I point out that so far, and the order deadline hasn't officially hit yet, it is our biggest selling locomotive ever.
Wow.
Ever.
But
and our second biggest selling locomotive is the PA. Both Bill's projects.
Something about passenger locomotives, I guess. I don't know what it is.
They're both not Gevos.
We should do a Gevo. Have you ever thought about that? That might no. Yes, so again, keep an eye out next week. Do you have the 4316 sheet there?
I
The,
don't,
the first locomotive to go into production, and in fact, the one that's kind of already ready to start production.
No, it's in production.
In production, they started
already.
injection and assembly, it's over. Is the 4316, which is the very first one that was painted in Amtrak. And do you have the sales pack for that?
I am looking for that one. I actually didn't have it open, but,
Okay.
oh, that's not the right one.
So we're doing a special limited edition of 4316. Also will be in the wood box with an etched metal plaque on the top. There you go. Yeah, this is a one-off paint scheme. And of course, Amtrak has just recently reintroduced this paint scheme on one of their newer locomotives. I'm sure you guys will tell me exactly which one it is.
Siemens Charger SC44.
Thanks, Matt.
Welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, the sales of this have been very, very strong. We announced this as a very limited edition, and have done very well with it. So
Remember, we announced it as a limited edition of 500, and it sold out in a couple hours.
oh yeah, in the first afternoon, and then it's like, what do we do now?
on Christmas Day. So then Amtrak told us, if you want to keep making Amtrak engines, you're opening the order desk again.
I
Well, a couple dealers told us if you don't. So,
I seem to recall my phone ringing on Christmas Day with, or it was the day after, Matt calling me, not this Matt Donnelly calling me, insisting that you got to make more. You got.
He wasn't just wishing you Merry Christmas. So yeah, so yeah, the sales have been very good on this. This is an ex-Pennsy unit, so it has the Pennsy lift rings on the front. It's got the blank portholes on the side, the Pennsy passenger pilot, the Pennsy dual steam generators in the back. So yeah, it's
the exposed receptacle on the nose.
yes, this engine ran with the cover off of the MU receptacle, so that's how we modeled it. You see there in the CAD render. The rear end of the unit is unique to the Pennsy. It had the backup light over the rear door, and then the ladder going up the side there. So that also is accurate.
Very nice. And these are in production now. They've already entered production, haven't they?
Yeah, they're
Yes. So yeah, the order deadline for this unit, because it was the special limited edition, was separate from all of the others. So they'll finish this one, and then they'll move on to the other production once the order deadline is passed.
That's the most, and that one is the most engines we've ever sold of one number.
Mm-hmm.
Though the way 2816 is selling, I don't
Be an
know.
interesting
Not sure
race.
which one's going to come on top. We'll
It'll be
see.
interesting.
That's the.
Something about the number 16.
There you go.
So. All right. We've gone over the E8s. What is the other thing we? Oh, the turbo.
Turbo.
All right, let me get that one.
I'll be right
that
back.
train you
Go ahead.
broke.
I'm going to spray stuff.
The train that I went to Jason's house to film a video for 90 minutes, and we ended up being 9.5 hours.
It was only 9 hours. It wasn't 9.5. Don't exaggerate.
Yeah, we had dinner in there somewhere, so
Nice.
It was good too.
that's good.
What do we have?
We had stew.
Stew with homemade bread.
Yes,
Yes.
we did. Yeah.
Yes. My wife's.
Would you stop? I haven't had dinner yet. Can you just move on?
So yeah, the turboliner's coming up February 15th. This is the final order deadline. We're gonna go into production with these sometime later this winter. This has been a pretty exciting project, at least for me, as everybody knows. So these are the RTL turbos that were built in 1976. They delivered them to Amtrak 76, 77, and lasted in various forms right until about 2003. They've been rebuilt once or twice, but they actually did have quite a long career for a kind of an unusual turbo-powered train, and they were quite well known. They ran out of New York, out of Grand Central Terminal. They ran out to Montreal in the Adirondack, up to Albany on the Buffalo trains on the Empire Service corridors. They actually ran for a time, once in a while, when the Canada Southern was still open, the Niagara Rainbow was running to Detroit through Southern Ontario with the turbos. Very briefly.
They ran to Toronto at least once, and they also ran out of Penn Station after the Amtrak moved out of Grand Central Terminal.
Yeah, that's when one of them caught fire, and yeah, long story, but
I heard one caught fire in Montreal as well.
it did happen once in a while. It wasn't as bad as that other turbo that always caught fire.
I was gonna say, I think it was the other one that caught fire more often.
Okay, the other one was
We're all
was-
The inferior
God's
one.
gift. The other one was God's gift to railway kind.
Yeah.
Hey, do we have that burnt out shot of that?
Hey, do not share. Okay, you guys, if you share burnt out turbo photos, you're fired.
I
Okay,
already
how
got
about the
fired
one
this
with the
week, so I'm
FA
gonna bring it
pulling
up.
Don't give them any ideas. But anyways, yeah, we do have different versions. We've got the early version. Note we're calling this the early and late. This isn't there was a as delivered, they came a little bit different than this. They came with a black Amtrak logo on the nose. We're not doing that version because it only lasted like a little while, less than a year. So this is the early version. They ran with this version of the paint with the white roof and the thicker stripes well into the mid to late 80s. We're doing the later versions. They got the thinner stripes, the black painted on the roof. We've got the kind of the Acela paint, which this is technically the rebuilds, but it's very similar. So we felt it was close enough that we could do that. It would have been nice to do the full rebuild bodies, but we never would have sold enough to justify that tooling. And of course, the X2000 demonstrators. These were on that demo train that went around the country with the high-speed rail train, the X2000. They're used for power, and I think they went into the rebuild program somewhere around late 90s there. They were retired in that scheme. So yeah, the order deadline is coming up on the 15th. They are 5-car sets, except for the 2-car demonstrator set. So you get the cafe coach, I mean, 2 regular coaches and the 2 power cars, both of which are powered. We have decoders in both if you buy a DCC sound version. So and full lighting features. We've got strobes, class lights, we've got the white class lights, headlight, red markers if it's running in reverse. And it's all set up. If you watched our video on YouTube, it's all pre-programmed to change direction, and all the lighting features reverse on that. So if you haven't seen that video, go over to our YouTube page. I think it's on our Facebook page as well, and have a look. So that's the turbo liner. I guess we'll probably have these coming late this year, depending on how well production goes. But, and how much
What's that?
What?
Okay,
Go
sorry.
back to the layout.
No, I painted my switch heaters and my propane tanks.
That's nice. We're just announcing an N-scale cross Mafai. Just
Yeah, don't
pay-
worry about it.
Yeah,
It's all good.
No problem.
the Ingalls 4S.
Yeah.
It's
I forgot to do my automatic switch machines. I got that.
Can we mute him?
I can actually. There's a big button. Now-
Pull the plug. Oh, you did mute him too.
Oh,
He keeps walking out to go
You know how long it takes them to figure it out?
the funny thing is that now I've muted him. I can't unmute him. He has to manually do it himself.
We have more opportunities to announce new stuff this way, though.
Yes.
Hey,
Sorry.
Jordan, why can't you do that in our meetings?
Like I said, I have a mortgage now, so. Do we have any other? Bill, did you say you had some E8 photos? I forgot. Did we skip over that?
No photos of the yeah. We'll have the video and photos next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I found a sample of that on my desk today at the office. Hey, Bill, you need this? Yeah. Whoops.
Great.
Absolutely. Anything else sample wise that we have ready to share today?
I've actually got a couple. If you
Sure. Well, it's all yours if you want to take it away.
I've got a handful of samples too when Bill's finished.
okay. So this is the very first tooling samples on the UTLX X3 tank car. This is a car actually I've thought needed to be done for a number of years, and very happy with the way this is coming out. We've had a huge amount of help from Steve Heil, who's the guy who literally wrote the book on these. And after these samples have come in, he and Ed Hawkins and Jerry Stewart all had a long Zoom meeting with me going over them. So we've got a number of small corrections, but nothing significant at this point. We're doing this in two different versions. If I can get my computer to agree with me here. This is the AB brake version, which is a modernized, updated version. Also has cast steel trucks on it. This is from above. This is the AB brake version, rather the K brake version, which is as they were delivered with Andrews trucks underneath it. The other difference is on the ends here, since I've got a cursor I can point with. The entire end sill is different between the AB brake and the K brake. As they were delivered, they had this overset uncoupling lever here, and the stem winder brake was actually inset onto the end sill. There's the underside. And then this is the AB brake, which you can see the stem winder actually comes out over the end of the end sill and has an underslung cut lever on it. So yeah, as I said, we're very happy with the preliminary shots on this one. And the factory will be doing some revisions when they get back. The other project that we've just gotten first test shots in, and I'm going to share these, and I'm also going to throw in a couple caveats. These are the very first shots of the test shots of the Northeastern Caboose. This is a CNJ version, which has the blank porthole near the stove, or blank window, rather.
Not seeing it, Bill.
Yep, you're still showing tank
You're
car.
still showing the tank.
Oh, okay. Well, let's try that again. It was a really pretty shot. How about that?
That's
There you
better.
go.
Okay. So again, CNJ with the blanked window near the stove has the trying to blank on the name of the running board, Allen Wood running board on the top. Full underbody detail with the Duryea underframe. This is the Lehigh Valley, first test shot of the Lehigh Valley version. Taller stacks, different end railings, different end sets, different steps, different trucks. These are Lehigh Valley ends. This is probably as good a shot as possible for me to talk about the one change that we have made. The factory and I did a design that had fairly fine handrails on it. The tooling shop modified those handrails and made them way oversized to where our specs had been. So they're going to go back and retool all the handrails to be a thinner cross section. That's something we've been trying to work with on them, and will be taken care of on this Caboose. There's the underside on the Lehigh Valley version, again, Duryea underframe. So minor variations from car to car in terms of how the underbody's arrangements are set, and we've incorporated that. We've
I
also
noticed
done,
pickups in the trucks.
what's that?
Pickups in the trucks.
Yes, because it does have interior lighting.
Beautiful.
This is the Reading version, is the Taylor trucks, and this one has also have the modernized windows with the blanks and also the thermopane, which you can't really see here because it is cast. It'll be tampo printed, but right now it is just cast 2-level and clear, so it's hard to see. The end railings of the Reading version. You can see the extended coupler pockets, which is outside sign of the Duryea underframe. This is the Western Maryland version. Again, different end. Has the little rain gutters above the doors here. Different running board, and actually we'll also have a different rivet pattern on the roof because the Western Maryland cars were a little different. You'll notice these models don't have rivets on. That's generally the last thing that they add. So they look a little bit blank without them all, but they will be on here. Again, a couple different styles of steps depending on the prototype. And there's the underbody, the Western Maryland version that also has the little toolbox on it that they added in. That's it.
They look amazing, Bill.
Well, and they will when, so we got a couple tweaks for first tap round test shot, which is basically stuff to review. I've been very happy with them so far.
Excellent.
You know what? We should make more of them.
Yeah.
He left again.
I gotta spray these switch machines. I'll be right back.
Yeah, huh?
You approve?
Watch for our new caboose reading now. Matt, you have some stuff you want to?
Jason, just say yes.
No response. Works for us.
Yeah, there we go.
If you say nothing, then we're going to advance the project.
Yeah.
But if you didn't pick up on it earlier, we spent the good hour or two yesterday and most of the day today talking about potential future projects. We'll all have lots to keep us busy for the next couple of years.
I was thinking that we could do this. We could do benches of Redditch.
Jordan,
This is
the
my
mute button.
2022 calendar.
Um,
Redditch is a town just south of Birmingham, England. And some guy made a calendar with pictures of benches in Redditch.
Jordan, the mute button.
I don't know.
There's a blue one.
Dan's got the right idea.
Yeah.
Okay. In all seriousness,
Matt, you have stuff to share.
someone just sent this to me, which is really cool. They found it in some guy's house.
What is it? The parking meters of Cincinnati?
Oh, that one that burned.
It's turbo. That I've never seen that before. That is Alan Kripe, is the guy on the right. He's the one who designed the turbo train originally. This is the
That's the
turbo
gentleman
train.
that actually contacted you, Jason? Remember
What's
that
that?
older? Was that the gentleman that actually contacted you?
The
Remember?
gentleman that caught me was someone who was helping Alan Kripe's wife deal with his papers.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, he contacted me after they threw out most of his papers. You like that, Dan? Look at that CN early uniforms that they eventually abandoned. They never used that uniform. So that's really cool. And of course, I've got lots of these. It's the turbo brochure. Just awesome. Very cool.
Is this just a walk down memory lane, or?
Well, people have been asking us to do a new run of these, so we are seriously considering it.
Mhm.
Now, I would have loved this photo when I was doing the original train. There's the dual axle power truck for the
Yeah.
American version, because you can see it's got the lugs to hold the third rail pickup shoes.
Yep.
So that's the difference with the American one. This is fabulous. Just
When did you
gorgeous.
get that?
I picked it up today,
Hmm.
including one very blurry photo of that. Maybe I wonder if that's the 170 mile per hour run. The turbo train
Isn't that the substation you were talking about?
that one. No, this one's in the
No?
States.
Oh, it is in the States. Okay.
Yeah. So the turbo. Yeah, this is the 171 mile. The turbo train. There it is. There. Still has the North American speed record for a production train of 171 miles an hour, which was on the Pennsylvania Railroad. And I was talking to one of the guys who was running that train, and he said on the way back in the middle of the night, they had to drive it back to Rhode Island. And they said they beat 171 miles per hour, but there was no press, no nothing. So they did like 175, but the 171 is what was recorded. Yeah. So anyway, that was pretty cool.
Why don't we look at Chevys?
Yeah, definitely.
So the Caprices and Impalas are shipping. They've shipped from the factory. They're, like we said before, they're sitting in a container somewhere, waiting for a ship. But there we are. Got the different grills. We got the Impala grill, the Caprice grill, lots of different wheels. Sorry, a little blurry, but you can see the wire wheels on the estate wagons. That's really zoomed in.
I like your marble kitchen counter there, Jordan.
Yeah, I just got it. It's real.
It's beautiful. That looks a lot like mine.
Yeah, they just.
Okay, that's my dad's car. It's a 2 years later model, but that we drove all over the place in that car. He finally got rid of it at 375,000 miles, but the same wheels, the same
5,000
everything.
miles?
Yes, we finally got rid of the car in 88. It was a 78. And he was commuting every day from Don Mills and Steeles to Kipling and the Queensway. So 375,000 miles when we got rid of that car. And the wood paneling was a Mac tack. It was just glue, like the sticky paper. And in 1984, we pulled the wood paneling off, and the body shop had to rebuild the sides in Bondo because there was nothing left underneath the wood paneling. So for the last 3 years, we had the car.
Mac tack was holding it
just
together.
plain brown.
Holding the car together.
The Mac
I've
tack
had a
was
couple
holding the
cars
car
like
together. The Mac tack was holding the car together. Absolutely. Jordan, you and I need to go halvesies on one of these, a real one of these.
You already tried me. No.
Don't do it, Jordan.
If you can
Say
find,
no.
if you can find one that doesn't have a rusted out floor pan and a frame that's made of sand.
Wasn't there one for sale in blue, a Pontiac version for like 15 grand? Too much.
Yeah, that was the one I
grand.
sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Belleville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
15
original
grand.
retail price was like $6,000 or something.
Yeah, I'm not spending 15 grand on it.
There's your CN maintenance away official car.
That's cool.
That's got the dog dish pallet hubcaps.
Yep.
Grill. There's the underbody. There's a lot.
I have these on the layout if you want me to show people what it looks like on a layout.
Sure. Police car.
Cool.
Yeah, you
All
lay it
right,
low.
hang on. Let me turn my camera around.
We were trying that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hi, how you doing? I'm gonna try and turn you upside down here. Hang on. It should correct, right?
Hey, that's one of my freight cars still there.
No. Okay. So there's a couple of taxis. There's the early sample and the production. I've now dirtied them and added on license plates. There's
We got some
Street.
CM going on here.
No, Jason, the
What's
value
that?
drops when you take them off the lot like that.
They're
yeah,
certainly
no,
out of warranty.
I made them all nice and filthy.
That's not a model in the front. Oh,
Oh, check this out. I went to Little Canada, and that's my kids. That's Boaz and Dahlia. They 3D scanned them and stuck them on, and I've got it on my layout.
Love it.
The only people wearing plaid and on the layout. Here we go. Hang on. So there's the CN police car, nice and dirty. There's the maintenance away car. All right, there's my dad's station wagon over there. All right, a couple more in the parking lot.
hey Dan, are you
It's-
in yet?
That particular model of car was very popular in your town, wasn't it?
Extremely popular. I've got lots. It's amazing. It's like every second guy has a Caprice.
Hey Dan,
Anyway.
isn't that the parking lot that he did the S curve, the S maneuver?
Yeah, where he nearly broke my neck.
That is the parking lot. In fact, I can point it out. I almost sent Dan Darnell to the hospital.
Almost?
Right
Dislocated
behind
my
that
shoulder.
bus. Right behind that bus in Kingston Station. In our bus.
Moving on.
Well, then I
That
guess,
is a
I guess it's
rally
a good
move
thing they
going
rebuilt.
in.
I guess it's a good thing they rebuilt the parking lot then. You can't enter
It's
from
very
that way anymore.
confusing now. It was just there. It's very,
Because
very
they caught him
confusing.
on video doing it.
That was after he was there, right?
Right. Matt, photos.
Okay, well, no, I don't have any photos. I got samples. I wasn't as fancy as you.
Let's see what you got.
But first things first, I got what I'm gonna call probably the last test shot sample of the RR56. We've got all the rivets have been added to it now. It's a really nice looking car. The walkways
Oh,
nice,
gorgeous.
straight.
Can you turn it? Can you turn it a bit so we can see the rivets? Because right now they're being washed out by the light. There we go. There we go. Nice.
I don't. Maybe the camera.
A
will
little
focus.
out of focus, but yeah, it's there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice. Beautiful.
But then underbody detail and everything like that. So I had a couple of questions for the factory that they'll get back to me after CNY. But otherwise, signing off on that for production and finishing up the artwork this week.
Beauty.
So the factory will have that, and those will get into production soon. I got the new coal load sample for the HO Auto Flood 3 with all the texture added, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think the customers are going to be happy with it, and that's why I'm doing better than you on my layout progress, because I've got to get my flood loader and everything ready for my train of Auto Flood 3s.
Awesome. Do you know the auto flood? That's Project 169, right?
Yeah.
That's our biggest selling freight car.
Yeah.
And-
Hey, our second biggest selling freight car is the USRA single sheet boxcar, Bill.
We've got a little competition going here. It's just,
I'll just,
Well,
It's okay. Our third selling freight car is Dan's GP20 tank car. So all three of you're doing very well.
we've actually had a lot of people asking about the auto floods, wanting to know if we're gonna make more road numbers for the existing paint schemes one day, because what do we make, 18 of each?
We did 18 row numbers of each, plus undecorated with decals available from Highball, so you can decal your own.
Oh, unnumbered, you mean? Unnumbered, yeah.
Yeah.
There will definitely be more.
And that's what I did. I bought, of course, the 18 road numbers for CEFX, but then I bought a bunch of unlettered ones so I can have a train of them. So, but then Rapido shrink ray works, because I got the very first sample of the N-Scale Auto Flood 3.
Oh, beautiful.
So I need to review that and get comments back to the factory for them when they get back from CNY.
Oh, I'm gonna go check and see what our orders are like for those.
And then,
That's Project 538, right?
yes, 538. Yep.
Okay.
And then this is the first test shots of the U25, but we got them back from the custom painter, and we'll get some
Beautiful.
photos of those up.
that short hood looks like it might be a bit tall, though. Is that supposed to be that way?
Quite.
No,
Actually, in all
That's
seriousness,
amazing. That really isn't even.
Yeah.
in all seriousness, we are modifying the high hood units. Maybe Matt, you want to tell people about that?
Right. We found a couple of details, especially after we got the test shots and posted photos of them. The height of the number boards and location of the grabs on the top of the short hood. So that has been modified to be more accurate with the prototype. And then there was a couple of tweaks to the cab that we got that we'll be modifying. So again, these are the first test shots. So that's one of the reasons that we say, first test shot subject to change, so on and so forth, so that we can make them better. So, but these were.
Let's actually talk about that. That's something that we at Rapido debate all the time. We were having a big debate about it this morning. Do we show off the early test samples? And there's really an argument to be made either way. On the one hand, we show off something that's not completed, people will jump say, oh, I saw the Rapido model, it's wrong, it's got this wrong, it's got that wrong. On the other hand, it's very good to show we're actually making something, to show we got progress on it. And it's also very good because we get feedback. So when there's something wrong that we've found, fine. But when there's something wrong that we didn't find, there was a detail underneath that R56 reefer that none of us had caught. And a customer found that, and now we added the part.
Right.
You can see it under there. There's a new part in between those are the fuel tanks.
Yeah, between the fuel tank, it's the sump for the fuel system to feed the generator, or
Right.
reefer diesel.
Right. So that's it's always like, that's the debate, right? We're afraid that people are going to share the early photos and oh man, look at these cabooses. The grabs are too thick because they don't see our disclaimer that we're fixing the grabs. But on the other hand, we don't want to keep everything secret, because then if there is a mistake that we didn't catch, we won't catch it unless people see the sample and tell us.
Right.
So it's a real
And
catch
then, of course,
22.
everybody always wants to see some sort of progress. So it's always, you know, and the fun ones are when you're doing 6 versions of a locomotive and you show photos of one and everybody says, oh, well, they're not doing the version that I want. Well, actually, yes, we are. We just don't have a sample of it yet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act a little bit.
Right. Well, and you know, you talk about versions. I mean, we got this one painted for Santa Fe because this is the Santa Fe version. So that's why we didn't paint up a New Haven or whatever else we did on those.
And we do encourage anybody, if we do have any samples, feel free to reach out to us on email, ideally email through our main customer service email address, trains@repeatedtrains.com. We get a lot of people, sometimes they'll send us Facebook comments or something like that, and more often than not, we don't see that.
You know, and yes,
Also-
in all seriousness, none of us work in a vacuum. We all have groups of experts that we rely on, and we welcome any input that, if you know something that we should be aware of, it's very helpful to get in touch with us. We don't have the time to monitor all the groups. We don't have the time to check our messenger feeds and all of this stuff. And oftentimes emails or messages that go to these places just get lost or get missed. And then, you know, later somebody will say, well, how come you didn't do that? I pointed it out. Well, point it out to us.
This
Get
is
in
this
touch
is one
with
of the
us.
things I get. One of the things I get a lot. We get a lot of Facebook Messenger messages, and we get several hundred a week, and it's impossible to go through them all.
Just despite the disclaimer on there that says we don't answer Facebook Messenger messages, but
And you know,
I
we
keep somewhat up with them, but it's not possible to, and sometimes I don't have all the answers for a lot of questions.
and the project managers don't monitor that. So
Yeah.
again, the best way is to go to the general Rapido email, and they will get it to the right person, and we'll be in touch.
And even at that, sometimes projects get handed off to people, you know, like this reefer project. I was handed halfway through it, and I've reached out to some of the Santa Fe guys looking for information. Well, we've already sent it to you. Okay, I'm new at this, and this is a little bit out of my area of expertise. Please work with me again.
Right. Yeah, and I think that, like, there are a lot of really knowledgeable people out there. Let me say something. I'll put it right out there. Right, if you know a lot about the prototype, get in touch with us, because I think it would be better if you say you're sitting on a blueprint, you're sitting on this, and you share it with us to make sure we get the model right, rather than not sharing with us and just saying after we brought it out, you made a mistake. See, I have a blueprint you don't have. It's much more helpful if you share the stuff with us, and then we'll make sure we do the best possible model. And people have reached out to us and said, you know, I've got a blueprint of that. And I mean, I tell you right now, that barrel ore car that's almost here would be totally wrong had someone not reached out to us. Like, what was it, Dan? Like the day before we started cutting the steel, and said, I have a blueprint of that car.
Yeah.
And Dan had to guesstimate the underframe because we couldn't get to a car. We just had photos. And with that blueprint, we got everything right. But it came in like a day before we started cutting the steel. Right. So it's never too late. If you've got information for us, please, like, share it. And we will very much be grateful. And we'll usually give free models to people who share that vital. If you're just sending us a photocopy from a book that everybody has, not going to get a free model. But if you've got like a drawing or a blueprint or a collection of really good photos that really help us, absolutely, there'll be some free models in it for you, because we do value the help that we get, and we're quite generous when it comes to sending out free stuff.
And
We don't expect people to work for free. So.
and despite the link on the website when it's up, the product suggestions link, what's the best way to email us? Is it Rapido3 at Rapido Trains, or is there another?
Rapido3 at RapidoTrains.com, or use the contact link on our website. But if you've got information for a product we have, do not use the product suggestion form. You should email us through the website, because the product suggestion form, we get like 1,000 a week in there, and we may miss it. So but every email that goes to Rapido3, or you can send it to trains@RapidoTrains.com. Every email on those accounts is monitored, and the people monitoring it, Jordan, Robin, etc., they will forward it to the appropriate product manager. So we've changed numbers on stuff. We've changed details on stuff because someone who knows more than we do gets in touch and says, I know everything about that locomotive. I think you should choose this number instead of that number because the details will match this number better. And we really value that kind of feedback. That's a huge help for us.
Nice. One other thing I haven't shown yet, I've got kind of changing gears. I've got photos of the production N scale buses. We haven't talked much N scale yet today. So.
Oh, and we've got photos of the trailers too, if you have time to show those.
Sure. Look at the buses first and show the trailers. These are the N scale fishbowl buses, new look buses. That's a bus that couldn't.
Moving very slow.
It's a slow moving bus.
Should be a quick seller.
Sorry, I took these photos on my desk with my phone because they just arrived and I needed to get them back to the office. This is actually over the holidays. They shipped them right to they came right to my house, didn't they?
They shipped them to your house, yeah.
Yeah.
We had to approve them before they sent the shipment out.
Yeah. They're quite nice. All of them have the lighting. So there's all the wires right from right out of the box. Go transit.
That's the nicest one right there.
Yeah. I used
That's
to
it.
when they were on their last
That's it.
the late 90s.
Newmarket C,
Yeah.
Finch Station to Newmarket on Yonge Street.
I always took the Bayview bus.
Right.
For like 3 stops, but I always waited for these ones to show up because I knew they'd be gone soon. So,
Yeah, it was awesome when it was occasionally it was a 1000
mhm.
that came, which was the first buses with they were the Suburbans. They were nice.
Yeah, those are gone by my time. So.
Yeah, you're really young.
You're
Used to
really
be.
old.
Well, this is back when I was
Careful
riding
there, Josh.
1100s in the 90s. The 1000s were delivered in 1967, so they were 23, 24 years old. And now Go replaces their buses like every second Tuesday.
What is it like now? Like 8 years or something like that, and then the bus is too old. Never.
I think it's 10.
Eight to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The generic ones is the green. Sorry, they're not the highest res photos, but there you can good look at the underbody, fuel tank.
We know what one looks like because we own one.
We
Although you haven't rolled it over like that yet.
oh,
Don't
Thankfully.
jinx it.
Oh, yeah.
Came pretty close with Dan at Kingston Station, but
ooh,
I was not driving it.
no, I was.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like he was proud of that fact.
this was inspired by Boston.
No,
Inspired by
it
Dan.
is Boston.
Yes. Can I say that?
Never mind.
Yeah, you're allowed to say it because it doesn't have any logos on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, can we look at the trailers now? They all look the same.
It's N scale. It's N scale. All right, let's do some.
Hey, don't
If you'd
knock
like to-
N scalers.
Yeah, Mohan just tried to call me, by the way.
If you'd like to send a complaint about Jordan's appreciation of N scale, please contact.
555.
So who has the trailer photos?
Oh, I thought you had them pulled up.
Oh, hold on, let me find them here. I gotta find that folder.
No, now he's got to find them.
Well, I know where it is.
I thought he was driving, so I let him have it.
Are there any
Dan,
other
why is
questions?
there Texaco? Is there like a can of Texaco oil on your desk?
Yeah, I drank it.
All right, found them.
But that's like the Via plum pudding from 1980 that I have still in the can.
Ew.
And it's a
Jordan.
bit solid.
Jordan,
Won't the coffee go down in the morning?
Jordan,
Yes,
there's one there you shouldn't show.
I took the ones out of the folder that Bill set up. Hold on. This is the.
Uh-oh.
This
Is
is the-
there one of Dan's unannounced trailers in there that we
Yes.
can't talk about?
Wait, but no, this is the folder that Bill set up. Is there
Oh,
one?
hang, I told you to take any, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going in there now. You keep going.
Is it? Am I allowed to show this one?
So this is one that we can talk about.
Yes.
This is the exterior post 40-foot Freuhoff van. And that is version 1 of the front nose, I think, because there's at least 2. There are 2 different versions on this one. They've got those lower recess panels, or they've got one that goes vertically in the center of it, with the trailer hookups to the tractor. So we've got the 2 different noses, and then there's this one that is just the ribbed side on the right side of the trailer, or there's the curbside door on the right side of the trailer.
And I'm gonna take a chance that it's not in this folder, but if it is, you're about to make a new product announcement.
Okay.
Well, like we haven't done that before, 2816.
Carry on.
All right. Hold on a sec. Let me scroll through these. Is that one okay?
That one's good.
Fine.
That's what I would say is the insulated with the horizontal fluting down the side, and then it's got access doors into the unit on the nose, and then of course the Thermo King nose mounted reefer and control boxes down below, and then that one also has the curbside door. And these 2 40-foot trailers have sliding rear bogie on them, so you can put the bogie in whichever position you would like to represent.
And all these trailers have separate rear latch bars, right?
Yes, yes, they do. That's the same-
Gorgeous. This is the first time I've seen these photos.
Yeah, and the neat thing is, you sneak a peek down there on the bottom, you can see the spare tire.
Yeah, with the
Beauty.
photo etched
Yep.
hanger.
Here's your last for us.
Gorgeous. So I've looked at our sales. Bill, our trailer sales are now higher than our caboose sales. So we better push those cabooses.
What was it you said when we started this project? Nobody will want what?
Well, in all fairness, they've had a little bit longer announcement dwell time than the cabooses too.
True.
While we're looking at these, just keep in mind, these are pre-production samples. Some of the fit and finish still may need to be worked on. So yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
So
the
not-
tires
And the
fitting
tires
on.
are not glued on the rims, yes.
yes, because we have had a couple of concerned customers reach out to us. So there's a couple of things I've got to look into to make sure we've got correct. So I've got comments I need to write up and send back.
But that's good. That's good. That shows you that showing off the samples helps.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
your stuff.
So there's the
Well,
end.
and one of the things with all these too is that these are generally assembled by one of the engineers sitting at his desk, and they don't always get the right parts on.
Right.
You want to explain the well at the fifth wheel?
So the well at the fifth wheel at the kingpin up there was designed with the recess so that it would sit level on the Rapido F30 flat car, and that the hitch on the F30 flat car will fit up in that recess. And there is a plate that goes in there, and I actually have it because I forgot to put it in the package to send to Bill whenever he got the photos taken.
Oh, now he does it.
There is a plate that fits in that recess, and the kingpin goes through it, so that if you take it off of the F30 flat car, or you want to put it on a different flat car, that makes the floor level, and so that whenever it goes onto a tractor or another trailer hitch plate, it will not sit recessed down on the other model. So
Excellent. That's good. I like that solution. That's a good solution.
it was a height compromise, if you will, to get it to fit with everything. So,
Right. Because our F30 has prototype dimensions
right,
and
then-
doesn't always translate.
right. Go back, Jordan.
All right.
But also, if you zoom in on that rear bogie, Dan, would you say that this is the most detailed rear bogie on any HO scale trailer?
Definitely. We did all the brake cylinders. You can see it there.
Brake
You got
cylinders,
the
air
brake
press-
lines.
Yeah.
You got the release rod for the bogies to slide in the rails.
Yep.
The one thing like we were talking about, is that the mud flaps will be attached to the bogie so that they move with the wheels.
Right. Try and.
Or we'll put multiple slots in the floor that you can reposition the mud flaps.
Yeah,
right.
multiple slots is probably gonna be easier than having a more stable that way.
Yeah, got that. That's one of the things I got to look into to figure out the best way to move forward on that. So, and then like on this version, like those triangular gussets, the black pieces that are above and below the wheels, there, different roads, for lack of a better term, different owners, I guess, either had them or didn't have all three. So those are a separate part. So you can. We can install as per whatever road we're producing for that run. So,
And yes, those rubber tires had slid on those wheels before I took the picture and I didn't catch it.
so and then with the landing gear up towards the front, there is a lower position and a raised position. So there's two different heights of landing gear posts. So
I'd have to say that's the most detailed cast iron wheel for the landing gear I've ever seen in an HO model.
Zoom in.
I was actually shocked that it's actually two rubber tires with the metal rod.
mhm.
And the reason I knew that is one of them fell off and I had to glue it back together.
You guys are crazy.
Hey, we work for you.
I was gonna say, you hired us.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, there you go.
Now look at that Thermo King though, that's.
yeah.
Thermal King came out amazing.
That's the logo is actually etched in that piece of
Holy moly!
Yeah.
I was blown away by that. The double
And if you look from the top view, it's all recessed in the top with the detail of the fuel tank and everything.
radiator.
Or the radiator, sorry.
Very nice.
Holy moly! But what, Matt? Wasn't this the first thing you did when you worked at Rapido?
Yeah, this was the first project I worked on.
Wow, I guess you were trying to impress.
We'll keep them around for a while, I guess.
Yeah, and then the next one was the coal hopper. I was trying to get sales numbers up so I could continue to stay. So
And then we gave it
You're doing a
38.
good job.
yeah, and then
If you can do as well with the Kraus Mafe, I'm going to keep you for a long time.
and
So
then
you're toast, Matt.
That's C415. Oh, wait a minute. I did.
so we've seen that before.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. There's the 35-foot. What is that? The integral post car.
Yep.
And that one, because it was early enough, they did not. Well, I'm sure they did at some point, but they, in their prime, I guess they didn't go on flat cars that had trailer hitches on them, and so that's what the come along chains are at each end. And those are included with the trailer in a poly bag, and the modeler customer can drill the mounting holes on the floor of the trailer and the floor of your flat car. So that
How fine are those chains?
They're ridiculously fine. They're amazing.
But they've even got the ratchets on to tighten them down.
Yep. And this is why the Penske cars had the slotted rails on the side like you see here.
Mhm.
For those tie downs, and then of course they were removed when they went to TTX and put the.
Oh my, that's incredible.
Do we have an end shot of this? Because that rear end of that thing is gorgeous.
And then
What ends?
I don't think we.
There it is.
Ratchet chains, ratchet
Yeah,
straps.
those ratchet chains are gorgeous. They really are nice.
Holy moly!
yeah, the designer did very good work on those. And I'm not talking about me.
Oh, the
Yeah,
other.
you are.
There's the other version with the
That's
or is it the same car, just or the trailer, just with it only had the door on the one side on the passenger
right.
side?
It's only on the one side.
And a lot of these were the Penske truck train
Exactly.
with the big emblem on
Yep.
Right. Now this does not get the version with the tarp, the open top with the tarp on the top, because there were different. It was a different height and lights on the front of the nose. So if you go to the next photo, Jordan, the lights on the front of the nose were relocated down lower. So I opted not to do the one with the tarp open top.
I guess it's something to do for the next one.
I had a question about weight. Is there any weight added to the trailers, or are they just kind of as they are?
Oh, you don't want weight.
Yeah,
No
it'd
weight in
be too
trailers.
top heavy if you do.
Way too top heavy.
The
Yeah.
F30s in particular, our F30 flat cars are all die cast. Basically,
What was
you have
that?
a bottom
Do you
view of
remember
that,
that
Bill?
the front range flat car with the
Oh,
trailer on it?
Why would you bring that up?
And the weight was in the trailer and it just kept on falling over.
And it became a McKean model. Or McKean became front range.
Of course, if you want to add weight, you can actually pop the top off of these and then put a weight in the bottom.
one thing we're getting questions about, what happened to the brake wheel when you put the ramps down and roll the trailers off? Where did the brake wheel go?
It drops down flush to the deck.
The brake wheel actually just, it's on a raise and lower mechanism.
All right.
It was cast iron. It would just drop to the deck and they'd drive right over it.
Wow.
Then I thought there was a bottom view of that 35-foot trailer. Maybe not.
Yeah, I thought there was too.
Not in this folder.
The
Just the
bogey,
ones that I moved over to the folder. They're not all the photos.
yeah, the bogies on the 35-foot trailer are different from the 40-foot trailer. So
Yeah.
Did we announce an order deadline for these? Is that March?
No, we were thinking of doing it February 15th, but only depends if our website's back online or not. So
was it?
it'll be February 15th or March 15th, one or the other.
Yeah, I thought we landed on March 15th either way.
Oh, is it March 15th now? Okay. I think March 15th sounds right.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, I got a couple of comments and more research things to check before we finish. So
Right. So that'll give us time to make the last tweaks.
right.
People don't realize that a lot of the time the final corrections are done right before we actually start injecting them.
Yep.
Yeah, so the factories are always the mold shops are always working on new projects, and then we say we have corrections for this project, and the big guy tells us, "Tell me before you want to inject it," because then he takes out all the molds, fixes them, does some test shots. We get photos from the factory saying, "Is it good? Yes, good." And then the next day, there's like 10,000 of them injected.
Killer cure.
Because it's just they don't want to take the molds are big, heavy steel blocks. They don't want to take them out unless they want to work on them. Okay, we can stop looking at the picture. Let's answer some questions, Jordan.
Do it. We got lots of questions. What's the update on the bi-levels, Josh?
So I got a couple of samples here, production samples.
I took a
And
photo today. Can I share?
Is it a bi-levels?
Yeah.
Off the bus.
It'll turn out to be a photo of a turbo.
Oh, stop it. Hang on. Which one's good here? I just took these today. Hey, try that.
Yep, that's it.
Mhm.
So those are the production samples that we received only a couple of days ago, the Metrolink bi-level cars. We've found a couple of issues with the trucks and the rolling ability of the cars. So we're going to resolve that before full production goes through. And we test them. The lighting on them is fantastic.
Yeah, you can see the lit.
Yeah.
I'll grab another photo. Hang on.
Overall, the cars look absolutely stunning. They just don't roll quite as well as we'd hoped. It's just a minor correction that we need to make, but we're still moving along with those. We're hoping to get more samples in the next couple of weeks.
There we go.
After they get back from CNO.
Yep.
Looks nice, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Just stunning.
Actually have another photo, a couple photos the factory sent. This is the coach. This is just before they actually sent them. That's what shows it a little bit clearer there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great photo.
Yeah. Really shows the tint on there.
Gorgeous. No, the reason that they weren't rolling properly is because the factory changed the axle tube from the samples to production. So this happens, by the way, with all factories in the model train industry. You have to check the samples, we've discovered, because that was not an approved change. For some reason, the the axle tube, the axle itself, the plastic axle, was designed to hold the bearings in the right place. And when we got them, Josh, you better describe it better than I could.
They changed the length of the center axles so that there'd be more lateral play with the location of the bearings. Unfortunately, what that means is that as the car rolls along, it actually will rub against the truck or some of the brake detail on the side of the truck and create resistance seemingly at random. And it's just we can't accept that. So we're going to revert back to the original design. When we tested them and they rolled beautifully, I believe Jordan had a video or Jason had a video of them accidentally rolling off a table.
Yeah.
Because they were that free rolling.
Yeah, they're very, very free rolling.
Yeah.
So this is, and that, you know, the truth is that there's always a rush to get a shipment out before Chinese New Year because everything shuts down for 3 weeks and, you know, your shipment's gonna be delayed. And I remember that we got the email from the factory saying, you know, the samples we sent to you won't arrive before we have to close. Can we ship it anyway? And the email from Josh and me saying, do not ship the cars until we've approved the sample. And the sample came and there was this problem with the wheels. I wrote, you know, I was just talking with Colin 2 days ago and I said, Colin, you're going to fix those wheels. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to fix those wheels. He doesn't know. He's the factory owner. He doesn't know where that change came from. He's going to chase it down after Chinese New Year and, give a slap on the wrist.
The factory changing something after we've approved the EA truck. I mean, it would just.
The list is long.
Yes.
I was talking to another manufacturer who uses another factory and they had like the exact same problem. The factory changed all their wiring after they approved the sample and the factory went and changed everything. And it happens. It happens. And someone has an idea on the production floor and they doesn't go to the top. And then next thing you know, the thing's been changed and the factory boss didn't approve. We didn't approve. So
They make more beautiful for us.
they made more beautiful. Oh, do you remember when they wanted to change the color of CN orange on the temper units?
It looked better
Please
this
accept
way.
this color. We all the people in the office have agreed this color is more beautiful.
It may be more beautiful, but it's not correct.
Yeah, that was just after I started.
No, you've been here 3 years by then.
Was it?
Oh yeah, 2-3
I thought it
years.
was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
It's all
I'm
blurred.
fine.
You've
Yeah.
been at Rapido. So Dan, you've been at Rapido now for over 6 years. Bill this is his 13th anniversary this spring.
Lucky 13.
That's a long time. Is that the longest you've ever worked in one place, Bill? Is that
Oh, nice.
or-
Oh,
Yeah. Longest anyone's put up
Jared.
with me. I can't, you know.
I just hit 6 years last week.
Wait a
Congratulations.
minute. If he's hit 6 years, I've been here longer than 6.
You've been
Yeah,
there-
you started about 5 to 6 months before Jordan, no?
Yeah.
started in September and I started in January.
and I was 5 years this past Sunday.
Hey, congratulations. Fabulous. Does that include
Run,
when you
Matt,
volunteered?
run.
So what was that, Jason?
Does that include when you were volunteering?
No.
Can I tell
Or,
you?
or
that's
the first
best
drawing
way-
I ever did for Rapido.
Remember, you're here forever.
Yes.
That's the way. Like Josh came and said, "I want to work for Rapido," and I said, "I haven't got the money right now." He says, "I'll come work for free on Mondays," and he did.
know
And
what?
then what was it like? 3-4 months
Boy,
later.
did you set a bad precedent.
Oh,
Time I
it's all my
met him
fault.
was on the Canadian going to Calgary. And he
Yep.
sits down and he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "What's that? What's it like to work for Rapido?"
Yep.
I'm thinking, why is this guy asking me this?
So, but then it was about 3 or 4 months later when I had the money to hire somebody new. So I turned to Josh and said, "You want to work for us properly?" And he says, "Yeah." So that was great. That was great. So we've got a good team. I have to say, I think based on how we're doing, we will probably have to hire a new project manager this year. So for out of the 7 people who are watching this live stream, if one of them happens to be a model train project manager, definitely get in touch. But we're gonna need a new project manager.
And we can't promise to just grab you from a rail fanning trip and throw you in the back of a truck and drive
No.
off either.
Yeah, that's me. That's mine.
That and we and some help for Robin. We tried to clone him, but it didn't work. So
Well, Jordan's even dabbling his hand in project management. I mean, the stuff you sent to our designer on the family truckster is fabulous.
family truckster. That's a third project. Anyway,
Every time I show any photo of my layout that's got wood paneling, half the people on Facebook think it's the family truckster.
that was an LTD. That was a Caboose Squire.
We should do one of those.
Yeah, probably could, but
Yeah, that and a 73 Mustang would be all set.
Yep.
I could use 73 Mustangs on my layout. They'll be rusted and crap, but it'll be good.
Right.
Perfect for Kingston or Brockville.
Yeah.
More vehicles.
All right. Any other questions, Jordan?
We do. Do we have an update on the N scale F40s?
Yes, we got our first revised sample arrived today from China. It left before Chinese New Year closure, and it arrived today. And Dave, who is our warranty technician and N-scale modeler, is currently testing to make sure that the new drive system works.
We took it to the club, I guess, with Mohan, maybe.
I guess he's taking it to the club. Yeah, just arrived today. It was when I was at the office today. He was running around the test track.
I actually got a note from Bobby to point this out. I actually didn't mention it earlier when we were talking about M420s and E units, but we actually have two custom projects that are we're doing for Otter Valley. So we've got, I want to bring that up. Don't want to forget it. We're doing the OSR. This is the one for Otter, right? The OSRs.
Yes,
Yep.
OSR.
So they ran those for quite a while. They just actually sold them. What was it, last year?
Yeah.
So we're doing those, and we're also doing the later E8s. That's the 18 when they renumbered them.
1898, 1899. No, yeah, 1898, 99 via rail.
Do you see that? Am I still sharing the?
No, we just see the M420. We
oh,
just see the M420. You have to reshare.
There we go. That's the. Actually, oddly enough, that has its other number board on the front, but don't mind that. Yeah, so that's the later version of the E8s. That's another OSR exclusive run.
Well, and then we've also got the couple of exclusives coming up for Spring Creek too.
Yep, that's the coal hoppers.
Yeah, they did a custom run of OMAX or OMAX Auto Flood 3 coal hoppers with the blue panels and blue rotary end panels. And then they did the basically the demonstrator for the Procore 5820, where it was a solid blue body with the white lettering. So, and those are available exclusively through Spring Creek.
Nice.
Yeah, we're very excited when we have hobby shops do exclusive runs like that. So we won't reach out to you, hobby shop owners. You got to reach out to us. All right. So if you want to do an exclusive, get in touch. And it could be you have something specific in mind that you want to do, and so you send us a note saying, I specifically want to make Auto Flood 3s in this paint scheme. Or Otter Valley will get in touch and say, I want to do something exclusive. What do you suggest? And then we'll have a conversation. So if you want to do an exclusive, get in touch. We'll put you in touch with the project manager of that project. And you guys can talk about it.
Yep. Don't forget, Credit Valley has the D10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Credit Valley is D10. Well, that deadline's passed, but yeah,
Mhm.
they got D10.
A couple more questions. We actually haven't talked about this much lately, but it's been a topic amongst around the office. RS18Us, RS11s, RC14s. We've got some videos in the works on that, but have we settled on an order deadline for that yet? A lot of people asking.
It's either going to be February 15th or March 15th. At this point, I imagine March 15th because the website I don't think is going to be ready in time.
Yeah.
So, but Dan and you, Jordan, are working on that video. Should be live next week.
Yeah, so we're gonna get that filmed by I think Tuesday.
Well, you've already got most of it filmed, so
Yeah, it's mostly just pickup shots and
yeah.
Specific details that I missed in the first take. So hopefully that'll be middle of the week, something like that.
Yeah, so we should have video up on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yep, absolutely. Jeremy's been busy, editing videos the last little while. We got some unboxings coming up too. So
Yeah, and those of you who like the UK stuff, especially if you're interested in the benches of Redditch.
no, the bench.
So Jeremy's been working, and we're releasing a new Huntslet video tomorrow. So our Huntslet order deadline is March 1st. So we got a new sample that works beautifully. And anyone interested, this is the September 1980 Via Rail timetable, which I refer to frequently because it was in action when my layout was based. I love illustrations from that era. I just love them so much.
The stripes are wrong.
Jordan,
Yeah.
hit that mute button.
I think he's got the Mantua unit there on the front.
Does that have a Mars light on the nose? That's not accurate.
Shush.
Dagger light.
Yeah, it's also got
Yeah,
the porthole, the front portal's in the wrong place too. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Right. I'll do some more questions.
Check this out. One train, 112 from Toronto to Halifax. I'll be modeling that on my layout.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You had one question, please. Thank you.
Here's a question for Josh. Where did you get that wall phone?
A wall phone came from my childhood home, actually.
Does it still work?
No, it will if I connect it to something, but I actually had the phone line to my house removed because it wasn't going to be used.
Makes
I
sense.
might put a Bluetooth module in it and actually connect it to my cell phone.
Cool.
Maybe one day.
We
He
have
goes to get all his answers that he needs.
so the train to Halifax went Toronto, Gilwood, Kingston, and the next stop was McAdam, New Brunswick.
How about more SW1200 RSs for CN and CP? Maybe some of the rebuilds that CP had, or CN, or sweeps.
That's a Dan question.
Maybe in the near future.
We have other CN and CP switches we're working on.
Do we?
Yeah.
When is Janet going to be on these shows? We've been
I don't think Janet
Careful
wants to
what
be
you
on the
ask
live
for.
stream.
I don't know how that would be interesting, but I don't know if it would work out.
Yeah, all these projects that we just got the green light on when Jason walked away would be next immediately.
You're doing what?
That's not on my list.
Kraus Mafia.
Why not?
forget.
When are they bringing back the sleeper between Montreal and Washington? I missed that by like 6 months.
When did they cancel that back? Was it 90?
It was end of '94. I was planning to take it somewhere around '95 for my
Pardon.
wedding.
Don't play into this. Keep reading the questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're starting to dry up here a bit.
There was one train from Vancouver to San Diego, according to this. I don't think it was one train.
In Diego? No.
Yeah, no, it was called the Pacific International. Went from Vancouver, BC
I did a
to
post
San
about it
Diego.
months ago.
So what, did it follow the route of the chief and go down the coastline or something?
Yeah, so first went to Seattle, then Seattle,
Oh,
Portland, Oakland, Los Angeles, San Diego.
oh, so it followed the coast Starlight line.
The Coast
Mhm.
Starlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question for Bill. We talked about the county cars being in tooling. Is there any update on that?
They are in tooling. We did not get samples before CNY, so hopefully shortly after they get back, we'll see something.
And another one for Josh. Any possibility of more N-scale Comet cars or Horizons? I know we just released those not too long
We
ago.
just shipped those.
Yeah, that was very recent.
Yeah, we'll likely look into doing a rerun. We'll probably look into it in the next maybe year and a half.
Mhm.
They were a great seller, and I mean, there's lots more options that we can do.
Just a real quick comment, Jordan, you mentioned the county cars. This, of course, now is the weekend of the Great Northeastern in New England, which also means it's also Springfield Train Show weekend. And Unfortunately, we will not be there. This is the first time in a number of years we've missed it, but the guys are having a difficult time getting across the border right now. So it's impossible.
Oh, we can get
for us
across
to-
the border. We can't get back.
We can't get home. Yeah, that's the. So sadly, yeah, we're gonna miss the show and the blizzard this year, but we will be back in force next year.
Yeah.
And we had a whole bunch of
seriously want us
examples
to
and stuff to
want us-
show you.
I want to bring the bus.
We'll bring the bus through New York State in a blizzard in January with the entire team. Well, all
Nope.
the managers on the bus.
Dan, do you travel with that no button? Because you always seem to have it with you.
Only around you.
No, if we're traveling in the bus, we have to leave at least one project manager on a different form of transportation.
That's right, just to make sure there's some
One?
continuity in case. Yeah, right.
Shotgun.
What's that called?
Okay, in all seriousness, Bill, can we take the bus down to your place in the spring? Because I really want to do that.
You're not going to get into
Typically,
his
if the
place.
bus will make it, yes, you can. If you can get somebody to ride with you, that's gonna be a challenge.
You know, Dan, Josh,
The
George.
guy you almost put in the hospital, the guy.
The guy that kept it on the road between Calgary and
Anyway, Jordan, any other questions?
Actually, there's actually seriously, what are the qualifications or what do you have to do to know to be a project manager, to work at Rapido?
Put up with us.
That I think Bill is being the oldest project manager here
Why you
to answer that
emphasize
question.
That's not very.
Oh dear. What's that, Sonny? Obviously, you have to have a passion for the models, the ability to look at prototype photos, prototype drawings, and translate that into to model form. You don't need a 3D CAD ability, but you do need some sort of a 2D drafting, be it Illustrator, Corel, or something along those lines. Basically, there is no school for model railroadology, if you will, so it's something that you're going to pick up if you've got a skill set for it. And that's something, you know, that if you do feel like you want to be involved, then absolutely get in contact with us. We can talk about it more detail.
Yes, and if you happen to work for one of our competitors and do a really good job for them, give us a call.
Subtle.
Well, come on. Of our project management team, we have 4 people who have come from other train manufacturers.
I wouldn't know about that.
not at all.
Nope. Not in the slightest.
Oops.
Don't look at me.
Awkward silence.
So just a little.
No, seriously, if it is something that you, to the person that posted the question, if it is something that you think you might be interested in, certainly get in contact with us and we'd be happy to talk to you.
All right. What time is it? We've been doing this for over 2 hours now.
We have.
It's late. I want to go to bed. It's late.
Shut up. I didn't eat dinner yet.
Yeah, neither have I, Bill.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but we're now we're back.
Yeah. Ooh, I've got that 1 hour extra.
There you go.
I finished supper at 6:30. I don't know about you guys.
Shut up.
Quiet you.
Yeah.
I was enjoying actually my after dinner tea until I accidentally sprayed Instaset into it. So not enjoying
The
it.
taste now.
Yeah. I haven't eaten dinner. I haven't gotten any more layout work done. Come on.
The next live stream is going to be us all working on our layouts. So.
2 switch heaters, 2 switch machines, 2 equipment boxes, and 2 propane tanks. I've had a productive live stream.
If only I could
Not
do.
nope.
If only I could do work on my office during a live stream, but it'd be a little noisy.
One of these days, Jason's going to log into the meeting and we're all just going to be in the background building layouts, tripping over.
It'll be our next live stream. Seriously.
Yeah, it probably would. If I didn't have to hammer down track, I would have been tonight.
We were doing, what was it, a live stream? Was it the one we were doing about a month or two ago? No, it was a meeting. We were doing a meeting and you logged in and we could just see your chair. And all of a sudden we could hear a crash and you like tripped over something or knocked your toolbox of wrenches over or something like that. It was in the background.
But when you were here
If you're
filming
a
the
Pinot project
Timberlander,
manager, you have to put up with Jason. That is.
when Jordan was filming the Timberlander in my basement, I fell off the layout.
I hope you got that on video somewhere.
At the very least, the audio.
That was almost extremely painful. I stopped myself. I almost wrenched myself in two. That was not fun.
Yes. Well, this has been good. I think we'll probably be back probably sooner rather than later for another live stream.
Yes.
We got some newsletters coming up soonish, depending on how the website rolls out. So maybe we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
We're only launching 7 new products.
Yeah, we have
Nothing much.
we're not launching it this week, but we have 7 products. So well, hopefully all falls into place. 7 new products launching in February.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. If the website's not ready, then the first newsletter gets pushed back, and then the second newsletter gets pushed back.
Yeah.
And
Do we want to mention that addition to the current trailer announcement tonight? So people can think
Oh,
about
yes,
The
yes.
silver ones.
Yeah, so the current Freuhoff trailers, so the 35-foot and the 240-foot, we have had enough requests for unlettered versions that we are going to do silver body unlettered versions of those trailers. And there will be a note in the upcoming newsletter that I have the item numbers so that you can go order them. And so we're letting you all know about it because the website is under construction and Gomez is very busy with that. So we're trying to get the word out about that. So talk to you dealers that are listening, be on the lookout for this right here.
Jordan should probably pop that on Facebook too.
Yeah. So there's your item numbers and there's the different versions that we've got coming for unlettered with a silver finish. So you can do them up in your freelance and not have to strip too much from a fully painted one.
Or those schemes that we haven't gotten around to doing it.
Yeah.
There's lots we can do with these trailers. So. Gift that keeps on giving. All right, so I guess, yeah, I'll put this up on, or something like this. We'll get something on Facebook pretty soon. Do we want to wait? Are we going to put that up now, or do we want to wait till the website's up?
you can put it up. It's fine. They can't go to the website, but they can order from their hobby shop. I think Dan Gomez has already let the stores know about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll double check tomorrow when we have our Friday group meetings, which always turn out to be quite colorful, to say the least.
And that does say the order deadline's the 15th. Is it's either the February or March 15th.
Yeah, that was when we thought the website was going to be live like tomorrow, and it's not.
Right.
So
So it is March 15th now.
most likely March 15th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll update this and we'll get that out.
Bobby.
I think he's probably still out there somewhere. listening.
Bobby, I
He's
have
out
to
there
say, Bobby
wandering
does a
around.
really nice job. Bobby does a nice job on his sales packs, and he does a great job on his advertising. So Bobby is a very valuable member of our team.
Yes, I
And the newsletter, and.
Now, and he does the newsletter. So it's like he's Mr. PR.
And picking out all these oddball road names for locomotives is great.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby.
Yes, we're doing the upper butt munchin southern on the M420. We'll see how many sell. Conditional release.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, somebody wanting to work at Rapido, you got to keep in mind all these different characters you get to work with or work alongside and keep on track, like Jason and Craig and Bobby and his butt munchin southern. And yeah, so.
The upper butt munchin southern.
Oh.
The butt munchin southern split off and went under.
I didn't make the
like 5
list. I'm
years ago.
normal.
That, if they've been watching this live stream and seen this group and they're still asking about it, I think they're probably getting the idea.
And there's only 6 of us on this.
I think there's probably more people actually in the, like, in the meeting right now.
In the live stream than
In the-
watching the live stream.
On that note, why don't we? Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you stop sharing and we can say goodbye,
All right.
because we've been doing this for well over 2 hours. And
Yeah,
I want to
to
go to
both
bed.
people that stuck it out this long, thank you. We,
There might have been some stuff we didn't get to, but like I said, we'll be back probably soon in the next couple weeks. Or
Yeah,
another-
and
we'll do
keep
another one
pointing
too.
at
What are you pointing at?
Well, then,
We need to get Gruber on that, and Gruber will get the masses going.
All right.
Nice.
Mr. Gruber, wasn't he a character in Paddington?
No, he fell off a Nakatomi Tower.
Oh, got it.
great Christmas movie.
He doesn't know what-
It is a Christmas movie.
You're getting an
Okay.
email, Matt.
Do what?
Jordan, it's time to say goodbye.
Yes,
He was
it's
trying to.
trying to. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon. And if you missed this one, I'll put this on YouTube probably tomorrow, so you can watch the whole thing. All 2 and 4.
You can tell your friends.
Hours and hours and hours.
All right. That's about
Good
it.
night.
All right.
Night.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah.